morning. Thank God it's Monday, October 6, 2025. And of course, this is Inside Nigeria, where we review front headline stories and, of course, topical discussions on some trending issues. My name is Winifred Ubebo, your host on the program, and welcome once again. Without wasting much time, we'll go over to our newspaper review. And, of course, we like to flag off with Nigeria's most influential leadership. Leadership's leading story this morning says alleged certificate forgery. Pressure mounts on Science Minister Nnaji to resign. That story is on page 4 of Leadership newspaper. Of course, the story broke over the weekend with the fact that the Minister of Science and Technology, Nnaji, actually forged his certificate. Pressure mounts on Science Minister Nnaji to resign. Civil society groups, lawyers, others say he must leave. How court turned down minister's request to stop release of academic record. We'll head over to page 4 now to see some excerpts. We just can't pass this up. Let's go to page 4 of Leadership to read on that leading story. Pressure is mounting on the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Nnaji, to resign from his cabinet position over an alleged certificate forgery. Two prominent civil society organizations, CSOs, the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, and Transparency International Nigeria, have called on Mr. Nnaji, who is involved in the certificate scandal, to resign and apologize to the nation. The leader of the CSOs, Comrade Awuwa Musa Rafsanjani, said in an interview with Leadership that politicians do not need to acquire degrees by hook or by crook, as they can hold any position with a school certificate as provided for in the Constitution. Rafsanjani observed that the minister has not resigned because he's close to the president. He, however, insisted that leaders must lead by example. Well, I think the issue is that if you lie in your certificate, whether it's a degree or not, whether it's an asset declaration or not, I think the only thing is that you lie and it is exposed. You need simply to resign because you cannot be promoting lies and fraud. What leadership are you providing? What are you presiding over if you are found to be involved in a fraudulent or lying situation? Now, the onus is on the man, now that the matter is public, to resign and apologize to the nation quickly. Secondly, the president cannot sit down and watch people who clearly promote lies, deception, manipulation, and fraud in the name of party or solidarity. There are several ministers or rather several public officials who are facing serious integrity challenges because of their past and what they have done. So have been accused of corruption, so have been charged with similar certificate scandals. Others have been accused of many things. If you want to provide quality leadership and want citizens to accept, follow, and respect you, you cannot have people with damaged reputations and integrity problems. Excerpts from today's leading story on Leadership. Monday, alleged certificate forgery. Pressure mounts on Science Minister Nnaji to resign. And we just saw some excerpts from that. We'll continue with the review of other front headline stories on Leadership this Monday. Emisi wins Big Brother Naija Season 10 edition. Of course, I see trending yesterday night. We saw the program Uche Ebuka Uchendu announcing Emisi as the winner of Big Brother Naija 10. Adelabu say, Emilo Kon, is my turn to become Oyo governor. That story is on page 7 of Leadership. We have another President Bola Tinubu, Emilo Kon, meaning is my turn. And Adelabu say it's his turn to become Oyo governor. Vested interests want to sabotage Dangote Refinery, Arewa Consultative Forum, that is ACF. Nigerian faces 194,000 teacher shortage, union. Cooking gas prices go through the roof nationwide. That story is on page 36 of Leadership. It's also on other papers we have on our lineup. Cooking gas prices go through the roof nationwide. And on the business boss of Leadership newspaper this Monday, we have Azu's new book, Easy's Midlifers Tech Worries. Is the editor-in-chief of Leadership Media Group, Azu Isiekwe, is out with a new book entitled A Midlifer's Guide to Content Creation and Profit. That is the story gracing the business cover, business boss of Leadership newspaper this Monday. And atop the masthead, stock market gains 60.193 trillion naira in 27 months under Tinubu. Troops kill wanted terrorist kingpin Kachala Maidawa, 35 others. And that continues on page 6 of leadership. And that also takes us to page 3, where we have our stand. Today's stand is on why local government autonomy remains elusive. Why local government autonomy remains elusive. Today's stand in leadership. Let's take some excerpts. For nearly half a century, Nigeria has wrestled with the promise and frustration of local government autonomy. Before the 1976 reforms, councils functioned largely as administrative appendages of state governments, trapped in a master-servant relationship that left them dependent and powerless. The 1976 reforms sought to break that grip by recognizing local governments as the third tier of governance. Both the 1979 and 1999 constitutions, most notably Section 7(1), went further, guaranteeing the democratically elected local government councils. Yet, almost 50 years later, genuine autonomy remains more debatable. Now, let's move towards the conclusion where the paper actually take a stand. This is a preamble. It's a leadership believes this judgment offers Nigeria a rare chance. Okay, let's take it further. The Tinubu administration must now match judicial success with political courage. Court victories, while important, cannot substitute for legislative reform. The president should spearhead a constitutional amendment campaign, mobilizing the National Assembly, civil society groups, and the Nigerian public. Citizens too must rise to the moment. Civil society organizations, professional associations, and grassroots movements should press relentlessly for these changes. Constitutional reform will not come from the goodwill of governors. It will come only from sustained pressure by the governed. Leadership believes this judgment offers Nigeria a rare chance to realign the architecture of governance. The court has affirmed that local governments are not appendages of the state. The next move belongs to the political class and the people. If Nigerians seize this moment by demanding constitutional amendments, supporting independent local elections, and holding councils accountable, democracy can finally reach every ward and village. These are excerpts. I just took some excerpts from today's stand in Leadership newspaper, which is on page 3 every day, while local government autonomy remains elusive. We move ahead to the back page of today, where we have Monday column with Dakuku Petiside. Today's column is on saving democracy, the urgency of electoral reforms. Saving democracy, the urgency of electoral reforms. Let's just take the quote from today's Monday column. The second truth is more immediate and symbolic. The appointment of the INEC chair is the first test of our seriousness to have a credible election. Handle it with transparency and merit, and the public will lean in. Politicize it, and we will have drained confidence before the starter's pistol fires. Quote from Monday column with Dakuku Petiside. This Monday column today is on saving democracy, the urgency of electoral reforms. Now let's visit Ghana Must Go. On the news, Jonathan clears air, says no accusations of Boko Haram ties against Buhari. And Ghana Must Go asked him, fear catch am? Jonathan, over to you. And that concludes review of Leadership newspaper this Monday. For more, log into the website of Leadership newspaper, www.leadership.ng. We move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup. Let's go with Daily Sun. Daily Sun says, no, let's do the Daily Times. The Daily Times says 2027, Bakare cautions Southwest not to work against Tinubu. And that story is on page 7 of the Daily Times. 2027, Bakare cautions Southwest not to work against Tinubu. Is a Pastor Tunde Bakare. ADC says Nigeria is under attack of our solution to security crisis. Domestic gas key to Nigerians' prosperity, says Seplat Energy. Kidnapping, NBA directs members to avoid 9 Kebbi local government areas. Nigeria needs robust policy response to safeguard investors' rights, CPPE. Declining currency in circulation tells CBN's fight against inflation. And lastly, on the cover of the Daily Times this Monday, Nigeria's oil rig soar to 69 as upstream sector gains momentum, NUPRC. And that concludes review of front headline stories on the Daily Times this Monday. For more, log into the website of the Daily Times. We also move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is The Punch. The Punch is talking security. It says terrorism, retired generals back calls for state of emergency. Terrorism, retired generals back calls for state of emergency. Ex-military chiefs, state of emergency will speed up anti-insurgency efforts. Only large-scale troop deployment can defeat Boko Haram, coming from Northern Elders. Bono dismisses call, says Irabo entitled to opinion. EI Lagos, Brazilian team win Lagos electric boat race. And of course, we have the picture gracing the cover of The Punch this Monday. EI Lagos, Brazilian team win Lagos electric boat race. How Osun Amotekun shot 2 siblings dead, stepmother. Government key force shoots teenager near Lagos barracks. NMA conducts court order checkpoint. Court order checks on Kanu. Submits report. NMA conducts court order checks on Kanu. Submits report. This is in response to the judge's decision or order for NMA to conduct tests whether Kanu actually deserves treatment, urgent treatment. Beside the masthead of The Punch, Fubara's men absent at governor's reunion with Wike. And atop the masthead of The Punch, petrol remains 865 naira per litre amid Dangote's free delivery. Forex inflows push naira to 1,465 naira per dollar. Nigeria's trade with African countries surges by 610 billion naira. And that also draw the curtain on the review of front headline stories on The Punch this Monday. For more, log into the website of The Punch newspaper. We move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian's leading story says government may earn 1 trillion naira yearly from capital gains as new tax causes stir. World Teachers Day, Tinubu NLC British Council lament education challenges. Tinubu's botched visit, Oti Kalu trade wars ahead of Abia 2027. Brewers kick against tax stamps rollout, one of inflationary impact. Kadoso single-digit inflation remains our medium-term target. Plot to remove Chinda divides House of Representatives. Fresh violence, mass displacement tests government's grip on security. End rascality, vested interest in Nigeria's downstream petroleum industry now. That is the editorial on page 12 of The Guardian this Monday. End rascality, vested interest in Nigeria's downstream petroleum industry now. And that takes us to the stories just beneath the masthead of The Guardian. Cooking gas scarcity pushes price to 3,000 naira per kilogram. Cooking gas scarcity pushes price to 3,000 naira per kilogram. Like I said earlier, this is one of the leading stories on the covers of all the papers we have on our lineup today. Confusion and status quo order pit police against NBA. Of course, talking about the tinted glass permit license. Lagos residents lament flash flooding, urge government to reinforce planning laws. And that also concludes the review of front headline stories on The Guardian this Monday. For more, log into the website of The Guardian newspaper. Now we move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is our sister publication, National Economy. National Economy, like I always say, is a business print newspaper on the stable of leadership, and of course they print weekly, while online is per seconds, news per seconds. We'll see what they have to offer in print this week. National Economy says new tax laws threaten Nigeria's informal sector. New tax laws threaten Nigeria's informal sector. As traders warn of mass closures, implementation needs to be carefully managed. Economists improve market infrastructure, security, access to low-interest credit first, experts tell government. Fintech, creative disruption and future of Nigerian banking. And atop the masthead of national economy, Nigeria, South Africa set to exit global money laundering watch list. CBN to assume control of fixed income market November 2025. And that concludes the review of front headline stories. We move ahead to the page 3, where we have the editorial. The editorial on national economy this week says World Space Week, why Nigeria's economy must look to the stars. World Space Week, why Nigeria's economy must look to the stars. That is the editorial on this week's National Economy in print. For more, don't forget to log into the website of National Economy, www.nationaleconomy.com. And that, viewers, that brings to a close today's Inside Nigeria, brought to you on Leadership Television. Don't forget to join us same time, same station for another fresh edition of the program. And of course, on this station, we have news on the hour coming in. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact